If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And today we're back with a special episode, back on a Friday. Yes, episode 6 has been released. And to celebrate that with me and talk about what I think is a really fun portrayal of a character that you now know as Maxim, is my special guest today. Let me welcome to the show, Taylor Napier. I said Napier. Taylor, thank you very much for being here. By the way, everyone, I want to tell you, I've been pronouncing Taylor's last name incorrectly. So this is for all of you out there, Taylor Napier. Taylor, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Of course. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's awesome. By the way, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah. That was a great way to start this off.
32. It's
nice.
getting older.
You kicked this off, by the way, for fans. You were excited about this. I love this post you've made. Yes, Taylor Napier said, as it's my birthday, I'll drop a little known Watt fact. It was actually down to me and Kate Fleetwood for Leandron, as you can tell from this photo. So I have to ask you, how did it feel to be passed up for Leandron?
It was devastating. I worked really hard on that audition. I really got into Leandron, into her psyche, into everything that she kind of is as a person. And, sometimes as an actor, it just doesn't go your way. And you just have to be prepared for that. I still am a little, it's funny when I watch Kate on screen, I'm like, I would have made a different choice, but sure. Yeah, that's what you wanted. No, Kate's fantastic. She's definitely the right call. She's phenomenal. I would have been a terrible Leandron. It would have been a complete disaster. The show would have already been canceled. So.
People disagree. The people disagree, I'm sure, in chat right now. But while we're here, would you have really picked the Red Aja?
No. Okay. They don't seem like they have a lot of fun, and I feel like the Red Aja, for me, is a little too. It's a little too strict. It's a little too rule oriented, and honestly, I feel like probably if I were to really be honest with myself, I'm probably a brown or a gray. I'd like to think in my head that I was a green, but I'm pretty much a kind of a shy book nerd type of person who likes to watch TV. So I would probably go that route.
You just won the heart of every brown Aja out there. So right now they're all like, wait a second, Taylor Napier is
what?
I love it. So, tell me, what have you enjoyed most about Maxim then, bringing Maxim to life?
I think the fun thing about Maxim is that in the books, you don't, outside of a few people or outside of Lan and a few other characters, you don't get a ton of insight into who these warders are and what kind of makes them tick and why they have chosen to do what they do. And so I think with Maxim, I get to kind of explore that as a fan and as a person who really who doesn't always get called upon in my career to play like a soldier or a knight type. And so it's kind of been fun for me to dive into that side of things as well.
Now, Maxim, he has one of the best lines. Basically, I think it was episode 4, says like, my father tried to kill me at 12, stop your whining or something to that effect. Sounds like he has a pretty complicated life. Is there, or at least childhood, is there anything else you can tell us about Maxim that we might not know?
Yeah. I think, I think the thing that makes anyone kind of go into, not anyone, but I think for one of the things, especially with the warders is, you're often searching for, and something that we've talked about a lot is you're often searching for a family. Either you've lost your family or your family isn't great. And so I think, with Maxim's childhood and Maxim's background, his, one of the things that we kind of discovered or kind of in building him is that he comes from a fairly wealthy background. And so he wouldn't necessarily be someone who would like choose to be a warder. It would probably be looked down upon almost by his family in some ways. But because of the history of his father and because of a few things that happened in his childhood, he decided to go this way because really he felt alone and kind of abandoned. And once he found Ivan and Alanna, that kind of made him feel whole again, I guess, if that makes any sense. So I think his relationship with Ivan and Lana drew him into being a warder in some ways. I think I often like to say about Maxim, if Ivan and Lana were bakers, he would be a baker. So he's definitely he's tried to find love and a family somewhere. And this is where he's found it.
This is family. Yeah, that's cool. I people are freaking out in chat about it. I love it. It's really interesting to kind of understand the character and what you're bringing, because in the end we see kind of these moments that you have, and we're like, well, what's driving the fun aspect or the way he kind of is snarky and something you said. I think you said this to me at the premiere, something about how you like how Maxim can kind of undercut Alanna sometimes. What did that mean? Kind of, or like,
well, I think we can all agree that Alanna is a pretty ridiculous character. She's a little bit larger than life, and she's as all the Aes Sedai are, which is what's so wonderful then about the Aes Sedai. But she's got so much exuberance and fun herself that sometimes, she's got a little bit of an ego, and sometimes she needs to be told, maybe we should reconsider this, or maybe not. Maybe we don't need 40 warders. Maybe we just need 2.
I mean, I can just see Priyanka getting a hold of this clip right now.
I'm surprised she's not in the chat, but I will get a text message if I'm not already getting them on my phone, being like, no, I need 40 orders. She actually, one of the things that she does that is the most hilarious thing is she'll find like Instagram influencers and just send them to me in direct message and be like, can we bond him? Can we bond him? Can we bond him? And I'm like, am I not enough for you? Or Ivan and I not enough? I'm a little insulted. I get that she has her needs, but sometimes it's good. Sometimes you want to feel wanted.
This does feel like how Alanna might be if Alanna had Instagram. So I like this. Yes,
that would Alanna would purely use Instagram to find her orders. That would be her whole motive for having the app.
Oh yeah, you're changing how I'm seeing Alanna right now in the show and in the books now. I honestly won't be able to read about Alanna without imagining her kind of like walking away with Instagram.
Oh, sorry. How about him?
I love it. Well, tell me. I mean, you obviously get a chance to work with Emmanuel Amani and Priyanka Bose. Like, what's the experience been like working with both those actors?
They're both so wonderful. Priyanka is much like Alanna, and I think that's one of the things she brings to Alanna that's so wonderful. She's such a force of nature. If you ever get to meet Priyanka, like she walks into a room and you instantly fall in love with her. her giggle, her laugh, her like joy about life is really, it's really kind of fun. And she has such a fun energy to play off of, and scenes she just brings so much to work with. So it's been really, and it's been wonderful getting to know her as a friend as well. And with Emmanuel, you know, he's someone who is so, he's so into this world of being a warrior, and he takes it so seriously, and he's really very he's also just such a nice guy, and he's also so funny. I think the two of them together with me, I know I'm probably coming off as like quite loud over Zoom, but with the two of them together, they are really, 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 they have so much personality. And I think I kind of balanced that out, but they're both just so wonderful. And it's been an incredible experience getting to know them and becoming friends with them.
Yeah, I mean, again, you guys have been all over social media, sharing some photos together as you're kind of filming. I'm kind of curious, what is Emmanuel bringing to Ivan? You're the fun warder, as you've explained to the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the Wheel of Time, one of the things that is really important thematically to the entire series is about balance. And I think one of the things you'll see as you get to know Maxim and Ivan maybe a little bit more, is that, you know, we balance each other out. And we also balance Alana out. And so, you know, while Maxim might be a little bit over the top, Emmanuel is more quiet, and Ivan, I should say, is more quiet and controlled and thoughtful, whereas Maxim is probably a little bit more emotional and a little bit more, you know, fiery with his feelings and his intensity.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. You mentioned kind of the theme from, you know, the books itself. And I'm kind of curious. I remember showing this I made this image because I thought the interview, the answer was pretty great, and I was like, oh man, I'm a total metaphysics geek about the Wheel of Time. And you answered this question about like when the Wheel of Time takes place. You said, I won't say it's the past, I won't say it's the future. It's just a different world or a different version of our world. And I wrote deserves bonus points for nailing Wheel of Time metaphysics, simply because I think that was a great way to explain this to, you know, new fans out there that are like, tell me, what is this? Is this like medieval times? Whatever it is, it was a great way to explain it. So I have to ask you, I don't have any like deep metaphysics questions planned for you, but I have to ask you, like, have you read the books? Is it just like you're immersed with them because the last many years of your life has been dominated by it?
Yeah, I try to read the books up until the point where we're at in filming, as much as I can. I know the story of the books really well, just because of my connection to the show and everything. And I've studied everything. And so I know of what's to come. I know of the spoilers. I have been spoiled myself, I should say. But I have not, I wouldn't say that, like, if you wanted to quiz me on like book 7, if I would be able to answer as well as you.
Sure. No, I don't know. There's some books there where, yeah, I like to narrowly know things, if that makes sense. I like some specific characters. Do you have a favorite character so far that you've read? Where you've read up to?
Character. I really like Lanfear. She's really fun. Who else do I really like? I really like, all of them are great. I kind of love, this will get me, everyone's going to yell at me, but this will get me into some trouble with some book fans, but I really like Gawain.
Oh my God.
Which is, I know everyone hates him, but I always love someone that everyone hates. It's sort of a character trait of mine. And so I just really, so he's I think he's a complicated figure that not a lot of people take the time to understand.
Yeah, exactly. Like Lanfear, everyone. I don't know if I did not plant that answer, by the way. I did not plant that answer. Lanfear is my favorite character. So look, they're all saying, like, how much did I pay you, to say Lanfear?
He paid me absolutely zero. I actually do really like Lanfear.
See, for those out there, yeah. By the way, you've just blown minds. Lanfear and Gawain is.
I know, and literally everyone's like, "What is wrong with him?"
Yeah, no,
how is it not Varen or Rand or Perrin or Gwaine or Nynaeve or Moraine or how is it not anything? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I totally get. I get it. I get the Lanfear side, maybe not the Gowan side as much. But okay, so some fans, I gave the opportunity for them to ask some questions. Wanted to make sure that you heard from the fans and what they were curious about with Maxim and you. So 3 of them submitted questions. Let me throw some of those to you. Petridge asked. I love how the culture of the Warders is being fleshed out in the show and the camaraderie that's being shown between them, which I think is more overt than what we get in the books. What touchstones, references, either fictional or from the real world cultures, have you used to inform your performance as a warder?
I mean, I definitely think for me, I looked at a lot of, given Robert Jordan's history and where he, his time in Vietnam, I definitely looked at soldiers and kind of why they choose to do what they do. I knew that we were kind of doing something that was a little different with the orders from the script than what's in the books. And so I wanted to also make sure that I kind of thought about his human side and where he was coming from and why someone chooses a life of service to another person, which is a very, it's a very complicated choice to make, and because you're essentially in some ways giving up your own time to literally to be in service of someone else. So that's something that I really kind of tried to draw upon and going forward with Maxim. Why do this? What drives someone to do this?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. By the way, this fan also said, also Kate Fleetwood is great, but you're my favorite Leandron. So they wanted you to know.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will let Kate know that if she needs any tips, that she should shoot me a text message.
This second fan, Dovey, asked, as a queer polyamorous woman, I am constantly let down by mainstream television when they fail to portray meaningful polyamorous storylines. It is so often treated as a joke. That's why it's been so incredible to see Alanna, Maxim, and Ivan storyline portrayed in The Wheel of Time. So thank you for doing that so beautifully. Obviously, you had to do a lot of training to prepare to portray these incredible warriors, but did you do anything special to prepare to portray one part of a bisexual triad?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that really makes the 3 of us and those 3 characters work together is that we're legitimate friends in real life. And that's not always the case when you're on a show with someone. But I think it always helps to inform the chemistry on screen. If you actually get along off screen, it makes it much easier. So it's very easy for us to seem very comfortable with each other. And one of the things that I think that we definitely wanted to explore with those 3 is making sure that any sort of relationship that we put on the show, whether it be a heterosexual couple or something that's polyamorous, or in episode 6, or just a homosexual couple, that it's treated with respect and care. And I think one of the things that's really interesting about doing fantasy shows and about being in a fantasy show is that this isn't our world that we're in. It's a completely different universe and a completely different world. So what that means in that world and the context around those relationships is very different. And that's something that I know that we wanted to make sure was felt throughout the entire series, is that, this isn't something that is abnormal. I mean, I think, you have in episode 4, Nynaeve being a little shocked that we're all together, but I think it's mostly just like her being from the 2 rivers and being shocked that anyone sleeps with anyone. And so I think that that's where that's coming from. But, I don't think that especially for the Warriors and the Aes Sedai, that anyone bats an eye at it. And that's just kind of how I think we want to continue to portray it.
Yeah, this same question, Dobran Lutra, another fan, kind of followed up with the same idea of what does it mean to you to be able to present this LGBTQ kind of polyamorous relationship so positively through the show?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to that. I mean, I think it's it's important that people feel represented, obviously, but also it means it's really meaningful to me in that I want people to be able to watch the show and feel and not feel laughed at. And so that's obviously very meaningful. And it, the more we can do to kind of make people feel included in this, even in a fictional fantasy world, in this world, is really, really helpful. It expands the world of Wheel of Time, and it just makes me feel happy that people are able to see themselves in the show.
Yeah, just growing up as a kind of book geek, I definitely looked at the Wheel of Time as an escapism from bullying. As a place where I could go to feel like I understood people, or I was understood and found people that were like me. So yeah, I hope that this is for new viewers that same reader experience that I had. I appreciate you expressing that. That's great. I know we only have you for just a couple moments left here. So I want to ask you, jump back into, I know it goes fast, right? I want to ask you,
crazy.
Jump back into the story itself. Specific to episode 6, what are Maxim and Ivan sensing about Alanna's feelings towards Moraine and the exile that we see occur?
Yeah, I think obviously Alanna is very, I don't want to speak to her character fully, but I think that she's very sad that she's losing her friend, and she doesn't fully know the extent of what's happening and why this is happening and why this punishment is so severe. So she's a bit heartbroken at this point. And she also doesn't fully know what Moraine is doing. And I think that's hard when you feel like you're a friend of someone and they're keeping secrets from you, as Moraine is wont to do. She keeps secrets from a lot of people. But I think that she's feeling a little bit betrayed and hurt, but also compassion towards her friend. That makes a lot of sense, and it gives some texture to what we saw in that episode. Okay, final question, and we'll let you get out of here. Is there any part of the water bond that you would definitely not want in real life? Oh, that's a good question. I think that it's really hard to kind of go back to that last question. It's really, I think you have empathy as a human, but I would think it would be really awful to feel every emotion that someone else feels and to not have some sort of control over that. Yeah. I think that would be terrible, actually. I think, to feel those sensations. The cool fighting stuff and the enhanced physical abilities. Yeah, give me that. But yeah, some of the sadness and the unhappiness that probably comes along with that too. The residual depression would probably be probably tough to deal with. Yeah, very tough. Yeah, which you can tell just from the impact that we see so far on the show, just how meaningful, but also how impactful that relationship is. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you for having me. This was super fun. Wheel. Yeah, this is a blast. I know I haven't been able to see anything that people have gone back and chat, so I'll have to go back and see all their comments. Okay. Yeah, but yeah. Hopefully they don't hate me too much. Well, the Godwin thing, I don't want to. I'm sure I lost a lot of brownie points. I don't know what just happened there with the Godwin thing. I'm sure everyone, But you said Brown Aja, Lanfear. You're my favorite cast member at this point, everybody. We should have come. That's right. Hey, Taylor, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Love seeing you as part of the Wheel of Time. This has been a blast. We're almost to the end of this season 1, which is crazy. No, it's crazy. I'm sure I can't imagine what everyone on the cast is feeling and thinking at this point, but yeah, we're almost there. And so, yeah, hopefully this is not the last time we see you here at the Dusty Wheel. Hopefully not. I would love to come back. Excellent. And hopefully all of you enjoyed this. Make sure to be back with us here on Wednesday, where we're going to do a little preview of episode 7, talk about what's coming up before we do another live after show next Thursday. And of course, don't forget that we have Inside the Wheel of Time, the official after show, Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Pacific on the Amazon Prime YouTube channel. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for being here, for showing up. Taylor, once again, thank you for being here. And as we say around here, good afternoon from the Dusty Wheel, and smash to black.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
You went right to kill it. Look at you, you're already. You're just done. I mean, this is like, this is one
really
of the
well.
biggest scenes.
And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the two rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So,
Just complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm
Sad.
not wearing one.
I see Naomi as something along the lines of a Shada Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge. Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all
This
of
is
a
not
sudden,
just
it's like,
a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi
And
elements.
just a
for
moment
those that are
ago,
kind of interested.
Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guests in here with me. And
Probably, I would say, put in 70, 80% of the work.
I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,